All right, and we're live. Welcome, DoorGrow hackers, to the DoorGrow Show. If you are a property management entrepreneur that wants to add doors, make a difference, increase revenue, help others, impact lives, and you are interested in growing your business and life, and you are open to doing things a bit differently, then you are a DoorGrow hacker. DoorGrow hackers love the opportunities, daily variety, unique challenges, and freedom that property management brings. Many in real estate think you're crazy for doing it. You think they're crazy for not, because you realize that property management is the ultimate high trust gateway to real estate deals, relationships, and residual income. At DoorGrow, we are on a mission to transform property management businesses and their business owners. We want to transform the industry, eliminate the BS, build awareness, change perception, expand the market, and help the best property management entrepreneurs win. I'm your host, property management growth expert, Jason Hull, the founder and CEO of DoorGrow. Now let's get into the show. And my guest today is Bobby Sharma. Welcome, Bobby Sharma.
Thank you, Jason.
And Bobby is with a company called BetterCapital. And Bobby, you have quite an extensive real estate experience. I grew up in Rancho Cucamonga, Altaloma, California. We were touching base just before the show. And you kind of got your start in real estate, it sounds like, somewhere in the Inland Empire there.
In the Inland Empire, yeah, Riverside, California. So I did what's called house hacking. Back then, there was no such term, but I was 24 years old and worked in Corona, California, and lived in Riverside, California. And that's how I got my start in the real estate world.
So define house hacking for those that are not house hackers.
Yeah, well, so I was single. I rented I ended up buying a house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and with the intention that maybe I'll get a couple of roommates and they'll help me pay the mortgage. And so I put an ad in the Riverside Enterprise. I don't know if you recall that newspaper, but this is late 1980s, early 90s. So yeah, I got 2 roommates, great guys. They stayed as my roommates for a long time. Also single and, working. One was a plumber, one was an X-ray tech. And anyway, long story short, they helped me pay for my most of my mortgage, not quite 100%, but most of my mortgage.
Nice. All right. And that was your first foray into real estate investing.
Yeah.
So that sparked something for you. You thought of it, but your roommates apparently didn't. And they were willing to pay rent. Yeah. So, okay. So, I lovingly refer to the Inland Empire as the armpit of California.
Absolutely.
So, but
absolutely,
I had a good childhood growing up there, and but now I'm in Austin, Texas, which I'm really enjoying. I got out just before the craziness of the pandemic, and California's gone insane. It's gone insane with all the stuff that's going on right now, evictions, etc. So, all right. So, Bobby, give us a little bit of history since that first sort of experiment, and give us a little background, qualify yourself, help the audience understand your experience in real estate or surrounding the property management rental industry.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jason. Since then, so I was 24 back then. Then I had to take a break I got married and, just didn't do much in real estate. But about 10 years ago, when I saw the market really collapse, so 2010, I had moved up to Silicon Valley. I was a software developer back in Southern California, but always wanted to be in Silicon Valley, work for one of these technology companies that Silicon Valley is famous for. And sure enough, I worked for one of them. And but in 2010, just saw the market collapse here in the Bay Area as well. And I think I said, you know what, I had some savings. So I started going out and picking up some homes that needed a little bit of work. Long story short, I also started a real estate meetup group in the Bay Area, in the East Bay. We call it the East Bay, up near Oakland. there weren't a lot of meetups going on. Most of them were in San Jose or San Francisco, and the people were fighting the commute. So long story short, I ended up starting a meetup in the Oakland area. Fortunately, that meetup has now become, the largest real estate meetup in the Bay Area. So I've got about 5,000 members. We used to meet every month. But out of that, I ended up becoming a landlord, buying out of state, working with property managers. Love my property managers. Without them, I wouldn't be successful. So I totally get, the importance of property management. So we own a bunch of rental properties, a lot of single family, a lot of multifamily. But a lot of it is out of state for cash flow reasons, right? It doesn't cash flow in California. So, but yeah, we ended up with several hundred doors out in the Midwest mainly.
Okay, cool. So, so now how did Better Capital come about, and what is it?
Yeah. So I'm a so just like a lot of people in my meetup group, like we're active real estate investors. So I have rental properties. I'm a private money lender. I have syndications in a couple of properties out in Ohio. I do what's called seller financing, but we own a bunch of rental properties, a bunch of real estate assets. So I was tracking everything through Excel, but that was just not cutting it for me. I wasn't able to get, you can't store documents inside Excel. So things were scattered all over my computer, in my Gmail, in my Dropbox, whatever, right? Leases and insurance and tax bills and reminders and everything. So what I did was I worked with a technology partner of mine, and we put all the essential tools to track your portfolio. We're not Appfolio, we're not Cozy, we're not Tenant Cloud, we're not a property management software, but we talk to a bunch of property management systems. So we are like a portfolio measurement and portfolio management tool for real estate investors.
So explain the measurement part.
Yeah. So what we do there, Jason, is look, if you bought a property 5 years ago, and then, you're getting your checks every now and then, your property manager is depositing the checks in your bank account. Sometimes it's not what you expected because there was a repair, or you don't know what your loan balance is on the property. But what we do is we track the actual deposits in your account. We track your loan balances. We track the equity in your properties across the board. And then we give you a return on investment. What did you invest in that property? And what's your annual return on investment? What's your equity growth? So the analogy that I like to draw is, if you log into your Schwab or ETrade or Robinhood account, you can see the equity of your stocks, right? But how much did you gain in your stock? If you bought Apple 5 years ago, or you bought Amazon 10 years ago, how much have you gained? But we didn't have something like that for real estate investors. So what we built was a tool. It has the ability to store documents. It has the ability to put reminders, to track your equity growth, to see in a graphical manner, how did this property perform over the past year, this year, over the past 5 years, and then since you bought it. So we have a lot of mathematical formulas that run in the background, and then you can track. So we want people to see how much wealth they've created, or how much equity they've created, because we want to encourage them to purchase real estate assets. So yeah.
I would be curious, if they can measure this better and they can see the performance, do they tend to invest more?
Exactly. So that's the whole idea, right? But real estate over time has so many benefits. And sometimes, property, especially like property managers, they are so busy day-to-day operations that they forget to remind the investors, the landlords, about the benefits of owning real estate. Yes, there are bumps in the road. There's going to be a turnover here and there. There's going to be an eviction here and there. But if you look at it across a long period of time, it turns out that it's one of the best ways to invest, to grow your wealth, to plan for your future. So what we want to do is we want to help property managers, realtors. Those are our partners. The property management, which is your audience as well. We want them, if we can help your current set of landlords grow their doors, maybe you bring a portfolio of new assets that they can purchase. But you can demonstrate that, look, if you bought this property with us in, say, Tulsa, Oklahoma, or in Dallas, Texas, or El Paso, Texas, if you've owned this property, here's how much equity you've gained. Here's how much your cash flow was last year. Here's how the property performed. Then you have a really strong case to go back to them and say, listen, here's another similar properties that are available on the market. Would you like to maybe consider adding a door or a couple of doors to your portfolio?
Now, so it sounds like this largely is a really effective tool for the investor. And so you have a way that investors can see and manage their entire portfolio. So if they have, say, 100 properties, or maybe they have 20, 30 doors or something, they can see this portfolio. And then there's a way maybe then that they can invite their property manager in to also see this portfolio,
right,
or keep this updated, or to connect to it.
Absolutely. So two things that the property managers and realtors also are very important. They play a very important role. So the owner can always invite their property manager to see the property in the system or communicate with that property manager. The other is that the property manager can invite the landlords to the system as well. When they upload a list of their landlords, we create what's called a preferential relationship, an exclusive preferential relationship between the property manager that loaded up the landlords in the system. That way, if you have a new portfolio that you want to maybe broadcast to your existing landlords, you can broadcast it through our platform. You can also let them know that, hey, listen, here's a similar property that's gives you the same kind of returns. It's in the same area. You may want to consider looking at it, at purchasing this one. So we want to help the property managers and the realtors have that exclusive kind of a relationship with the landlords. Yeah.
So there's this performance side of it. Is there, maybe if an investor is looking at getting into a property, is there any sort of forecasting that's similar? Is there a forecasting side? Like, look, here's a possible future roadmap of what this investment could do.
Very, very good question, Jason. And that's on our roadmap. So one of the things we want to do is forecasting or projecting the performance of a property that may be on the MLS, or it may be in the portfolio of the property manager. Maybe somebody's looking to sell that portfolio. We want in the future, we will have what's called a forecasting calculator. And you can submit that property, you can punch in all the numbers, and then the system will forecast within our platform. They'll be able to see the projections. We also have a way for the user to say, okay, if the appreciation is forecasted at, say, 3%, they can adjust that. They can say, well, what if it only appreciated 2%? Or if the rent appreciation was 5%, what if it was only 3%, and so on. So we will give them that tool. But yes, that is on the roadmap.
Very cool. So Now, does this have API integration with, because a lot of property managers, they are not going to want to go in and update a second system. They've got their property management back office. They're using like Rent Manager or AppFolio or Buildium or Propertyware typically. And is there a way of either scraping that data into those systems or maybe through an API connection, pulling all that data in?
Very, very much so. So we talk to all of the most popular property management applications out there, and most of them have APIs. If they don't have APIs, we allow the user to import like an Excel file. So very easy to do. It takes about less than 2 minutes to set up a property in the system. And then maybe once they get really good at importing data, it takes about 5 minutes to import the data if they're new. But once the property is set up in the system, then it literally takes 30 seconds to update a property every month, right? If you have your once a month, what are the main items that you're looking at? It's once a month typically, maybe sometimes twice a month, but you're looking at, did your rent come in? Did you pay your mortgage? Did you pay your insurance and taxes and so on and so forth? Did you pay your property management fees? But it's really very simple to bring that data in, and we have bank integration, so you can also pull the data from a bank. So if your properties are all, let's say you have an LLC. And by the way, the property manager doesn't have to do this. The landlord can do this. So the only thing the property manager has to do is load up the client list the first time, and then we establish that that property manager, the first property manager to load that landlord into the system, gets the exclusive relationship. So that's the first come first serve relationship that they have. But after that, the landlord should be able to go in and update the system, and it's very easy to do that. And it's in their best interest to see the performance of their assets, right? So they do a bulk of the data entry.
So that exclusivity sounds really exciting. I'm sure to the property management business owners that are listening, because this could be something that they could upsell as a feature for their more, invested investors, those that have lots of doors. It could be an upsell or a premium price point or on their premium plan that they offer. Now, this, for their more savvy investor clients. Now, related to that, and I don't know if this is a possible future feature request or idea, but I think a lot of property managers, they love owning their own brand. Would it be possible to white label this sort of service, that it's their thing if they have that
Very,
exclusivity?
very good question. So our service is free to the landlords. So as long as they're not over 15 or so doors, it's free. But to answer your question, we do plan for the larger property managers to have their own white labeled, branded, co-branded service. Not a problem. It's available.
Okay, very cool. All right. So what else can this do?
Yeah. So we built this platform for investors like myself, and look, I'm a big champion of real estate agents and property managers. Like, their jobs are often thankless. Like, we forget how much work they do behind the scenes, right? I mean, yes, and managing properties, not an easy task by any means. So we are big cheerleaders and supporters of property managers, of real estate agents, and at the same time, the landlords need to be able to track their system, a little bit better. So our goal is there. We call it the 3 T's: tracking, and then through my meetup for the past 10 years, I've been providing education. So I've been sort of an evangelist for better real estate investing. So we bring in experts on whether it's fix and flips, buying remote properties remotely, syndications, private money lending, just about any topic, asset protection for real estate investors, just about any topic that has to do with real estate. We've been teaching that in our meetup. So we're going to embed that into the system. So if the landlords, if the property managers, real estate agents, we want to become better at something, we're going to have an expert present once a month. So tracking, training, that's our second T. And the third T is the transaction. So if the property managers, realtors have a deal that what I call investor grade that they want to send out to their members, then we want to enable transactions. We're not Redfin, we're not one of those sites, but we allow them to communicate about it. Like it could be a pocket listing, it could be a property manager where the landlord is retiring or doing a 1031, but he wants to maybe sell off his portfolio without putting it on the MLS, for example. So let's figure out how to communicate within the system to the potential buyers, because the people that are in the system who are happy with their performance and their relationship with their property manager, they will want to acquire more doors. So those are our three T's. So tracking, training, and transactions.
So this almost like a trading platform. Is this essentially like the ETrade for real estate investments instead of stock, portfolios?
That's very much our vision. We're not quite there with the training is there. The transaction piece is not there, but we are. That's what we're building right now. So Jason, in a nutshell, it is ETrade for real estate, because we don't compete with the AppFolios, the Yardies, the Billiams of the world, but we partner with them, and we don't want the property managers to change what they're doing. Like whatever they're doing is fine. We will learn to live alongside with the systems they have in place.
This seems to be just such a missing piece to give investors a real tool. Most property managers are just so caught up on just at least at the very bare minimum of giving their investors, a statement or a report at the end of the month. But there's a big difference between managing as a real estate investment and just looking at, the expenses for the month and the rent and whatnot and seeing a report. And seeing it as an actual investment, and maybe even seeing a chart where things are, see what's actually going on. So you kind of get a sense of whether you're losing or gaining, So I think this is, it seems like such a simple, brilliant missing puzzle piece in the ecosystem. So kudos to you for coming up with this. Now, are there other things like this out on the market? Is this
I think people are finally realizing that a similar tool is needed, and there are a couple of players out there. What we have done is we have taken a comprehensive approach to real estate investing. So, what are people interested in? They're interested, obviously, in tracking like the performance of their assets. That's done in Excel, and it's done kind of on a very ad hoc basis. It's not real time, and it's a lot of keystroking. What we want to do is we want to automate a lot of that, so that once you put this property into the system, then a lot of the updates are done automatically. So that
Right.
we can The other piece is nobody's providing education. Like I truly believe that as property managers, it's equally important to educate the investors about the challenges, right? If there are evictions, if there are turnovers, let there be some transparency. But what we want to do is we want to prepare our users to become better investors, and part of that is understanding the challenges or the opportunities that property management companies and realtors face, right? A property manager's job is not easy at all, right? I mean, it takes a lot of, you have to be really thick skinned to be a property manager. Well, let's appreciate that, so that when your rent is a little bit lower than expected, or you have a turnover that's taking a little bit longer, if the investor, the landlord, is better educated, maybe they won't get upset as much, right? They will understand, okay, you know what, this is winter in Michigan, and it's going to take a little bit longer to put a tenant into the house or the property. So we want to provide education to make them a better investor, and so they will appreciate the role of the property manager a little bit more. And
Really,
then the
that's
third
the
thing
role of the property manager. I mean, property managers are the unsung heroes of the real estate investing sort of category or industry. They make tenants better. They make owners better. They hold everyone to a higher standard, and they make properties better all around. Good property managers really do change the world.
they do.
So I love what you're talking about how the education piece is going to improve their quality of client. It's going to take their client from where they are now, give them a greater understanding, which most likely increases their logical, need for to use a property manager. They understand, oh, this is a bit more complicated than these home TV shows and reality shows made it out to be, of flipping a house and just, or renting it out. And I think this is worth touching on, because I think there's some small-minded, scarcity-minded property managers. Maybe they're newer to the industry, but they're thinking, oh no, the only reason people will need me is if they're not educated. But I think the reverse is true. The more educated a client becomes, the more they can see clearly the liabilities involved, the dangers, the potential pitfalls, the time, and they don't want to touch it. They want to let go of that piece. They want to be an investor. They don't want to be a shitty part-time property manager.
Exactly.
They can let
100%
somebody
right.
do that full-time.
You nailed it, Jason. Your perception is right on. So the better educated, the better informed the landlord, the investor is, the easier it'll be to work with them, versus a total newbie who thinks it's just very simple to hire a property manager, and then every month, like through magic, a check will show up.
Right.
It just doesn't work that way, and especially now in the pandemic era that we're living in, it's even more challenging. So this is the time when property managers need to communicate more, not less, about what's going on in the let's say the court systems and the eviction process and so on and so forth. But you're right. Look, the members in my real estate meetup group, the ones that are well educated about investing, are the ones that are buying more rental properties, right? The ones that are not educated, they just bought their primary home and they never buy a rental property, right? They think the extent of their real estate investment is their primary home. And then sometimes they outgrow that primary home, and then they buy another home and they keep the old one as a rental. But they're not proactive in going out there and learning about rental properties and the benefits of rental properties, the tax advantages, and so on. But that's where our partners, our real estate property managers, realtors, our educators can really come in and help out.
Yeah, I think the tempting mistake that a lot of software people coming in, trying to kind of touch into this industry, is that they try to cut out the property manager. I see this over and over and over again. They think, well, we could replace this critical relationship and negotiation piece with software. And this is that can't be done in the hospitality industry. It certainly can't be done in the property management industry. And it also can't really be done in the real estate industry. And to some, significantly, because these are relationship things. There's negotiations, there's people involved, there's feelings, there's humans, and there's a lot that software can do. But software really should be enabling and facilitating those things, not trying to replace those things. Yeah, so I love that you're incorporating property managers. I think this is a wise move as you're moving forward. It'll allow you to connect with a lot of people that have investment portfolios, and it doesn't try and cut the property manager out of that, in which then we end up with a whole bunch of, honestly, then we end up with a bunch of crappy property managers, which are really actually just people DIYing their management and not really doing a great job. And then they have software tools that are supposed to say that it makes it easy, but things are falling through the cracks. Laws are getting broken. Tenants aren't protected. Owners aren't protected, and silly stuff's being done. So very cool stuff. So is there anything else you'd like the audience to know about BetterCapital before they go? And if so, or if not, like, how can they get a hold of you, and how can they try this thing out?
Thank you, Jason. First of all, it's a pleasure to be on your show. I really enjoyed, I've watched your videos. So thank you for doing what you're doing for your community, which is your audience of property managers. You're doing a fabulous job. So thank you for that. Look, our goal is very simple. We want to serve the real estate community in general, from newbies to seasoned investors. We want to give them tools, like you said. We're not replacing. We believe. I'll be the first one at any of my meetups. If they're buying a property remotely, they need to engage with a good property manager, because it's literally a marriage between you and the property manager for the next 10, 20 years, however long you hold that asset. That's how long that relationship needs to last. But very easy to get hold of me. It's Bobby@bettercapital.us. We couldn't get the .com, but so we got the .us. So bettercapital.us. And look, we're in what's called a beta version right now. So we're coming out of the beta version. We'll go live very soon. But we'd love to get your feedback. We'd love to incorporate your feedback into our product. We'd love to make you a partner. We'd love to see the property management companies that choose to work with us. We want to see them succeed. We'll highlight them, we'll showcase them, and we'll work with them.
Awesome. So property managers, if you're listening, this is your chance to help shape this tool to be something you really want. So you can be the ultimate beta tester, and then you'll have the ultimate product that would really serve your needs. So take them up on that offer. So, well, Bobby, I appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you for your gracious words. And I hope you have some success with this.
Thank you, Jason, and likewise. And hopefully we'll stay connected. And but yeah, I'll keep you posted on our progress.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. So check them out, bettercapital.us. And for those that are somehow new to this show because you just stumbled upon it, or those, I was going to say, it was interesting hearing him thank me for doing the podcast. And I was thinking sometimes it's a thankless job, but I'm like, wait a sec, he's thanking me. But sometimes it is a thankless job. I'm putting out free content. We pay a good chunk of change to have this podcast produced and to put out there. My team do the social media marketing, like to get it out there as well. And, we do make money. Don't get me wrong. Like we get paid really well to help property management businesses get paid really well. But if you wanted to do something to reciprocate besides become one of our clients, make sure to like our stuff, follow us. You can subscribe on YouTube and subscribe, or, leave us a review on iTunes. We'd really appreciate it. And if you're looking to grow your property management business, you are struggling or trapped in one of these growth sand traps, maybe around 50 or 60 doors. The solopreneur sand trap, you can't figure out how to get ahead. You don't have the revenue to hire your next person. You can't seem to get more doors than you're losing, and you just stay stuck there. Or maybe you're in the second sand trap, 200 to 400 doors, and you just can't figure out how to get the right people to do what you want them to do. And you're getting overwhelmed because your team are always asking you all the time, all the questions, and you're feeling overwhelmed, and you realize you are the biggest bottleneck in your business. There is a roadmap out of that. Very easy to get out of. And you can listen to some of the previous episodes, but reach out to us at DoorGrow. We would love to have a conversation and see if you'd be a fit, see if we could help you grow your business and be the property managers making a difference out there in the world. So until next time, everyone, to our mutual growth. Bye, everybody.